Alrighty. Welcome back to Boruto Anime Review Episode 278. You're probably thinking, Nick, what the heck took you so long to do this one? Time. That was simply put, time. Stuff kept getting in the way, and I got this done first. Out of all the anime I gotta do today, which is basically 8 anime, I wanted to get this one first because I have 2 episodes to cover. And this is what I actually wanted to do with Spy X Family, but due to the fact that not much was happening with 2 episodes, I just combined both episodes in one. This one discusses only one episode and one episode only. Episode 278 of Boruto Naruto Next Generation's Musical Chairs. So, basically we start off with, we have a couple of different things. Let's start with the outside stuff first, before I get to the main juicy bit of this episode. Where we have basically Sarah come back to the village. Mitsuki is still looking around. We have investigating about some of the passengers. And then they cut to toward the end of the episode, found out that one of the passengers, I'll get to who it is later, that this guy was an outer for Kira. As in the very organization that pretty much is defunct in Naruto. In the Naruto series. Though I think that Code is trying to make a new one. Well, with him, maybe like one other person. But yeah, this guy apparently was an outer for Kara. Who it is, I'll get to it later. And that's simply it for the outside stuff. Just a couple of brief scenes, and that's it. Episode starts out basically, after those 2 things, we have a review of what their desires are. Of course, Boruto wants to go see, well, Sasuke. In the case of the kid from the Stone Village, he wants to go help his grandmother, make her happy. In the case of the one who's called the Scavenger, she says basically she's out to get all the money just so she can have her sandy beach and get back to the rich people for basically plowing over her homeland and put a resort there. In the case of, well, the first one they had, one looked like a version of 1010, just from a different village. I don't remember the woman's name. She just looked like 1010. She, of course, wants to gather and just hope to change her hair color. Yep. Oh, good. Yeah, I just found Jim Palmer at Comic-Con. Awesome. Yes. And in the case of the monk, they actually reveal a little bit of his backstory, where apparently he actually was a former convict. Yes. He was a thief murderer. So, he eventually turned to what he's doing now. Thanks to a priest, he attempted to steal a rice ball from a priest in rags. And apparently a look he gave him, and he basically just dropped what he was doing. He just saw the light and just became a priest. Well, basically a monk, mostly. It's an okay explanation of how the heck got the way he is. This is probably a character you probably won't see again. Probably don't know too much about him. Otherwise, they'll basically be in a situation where he was with the previous arc, the Hidden Mist arc, where they kill off a character for no reason. Yeah, one character I was fully accepting of basically of it. The other one, I was not very happy with it. But moving on from that. So, there we go. Next is pressure. It's one of those old style pressure trap type things where you see some of the things in Indiana Jones where the ceiling is coming down. And yes, this was also seen in a Resident Evil video game. I believe it was in the first game where the ceiling was coming down because he was pulling like a switch. And that's something by Peeler by accident, the kid from the Hidden Stone Village, where he just pressed the button, presses the ball, a bunch of random buttons, like ceiling comes down, spikes, starts moving, and saws. And then eventually press another button, forms 6 cubicles. 6 holes 6 people go into, and everyone else would die. So, Boruto, basically, who of course put out some fire, decides that's not acceptable, so he decides to break a hole in the floor in order to save their lives. And thanks to the Scavenger, who helps him out, the 4 of them basically all go in the hole, and they all survive. And surprisingly, this is the first episode of this arc where nobody dies. Yeah, nobody gets killed off here, everybody all lives, no problem. And then they go back to the room, but the Scavenger, who basically took some off one of the people there, turns out it was basically a communication device. And Bart's like, that's not unusual. Yes, but it's active and no one's picking up. And who did it belong to? The guy who said he was from the Hidden Lake Village. It turns out that it was the Koden, I think his name is, the one who says we knew Hamaru. Apparently, he is the one who's a Kara outer. I'm like, that's an interesting plot twist. But the thing is, why would Kara want to work with this crazy old man with his experiments? That makes no sense. He's probably got a whole separate agenda, but the case still, man, he's probably doing this for pleasure. But why would Kara want to work with them? Kara is virtually gone. I mean, exception of Code, all everyone's simply dead or just defected. It's pretty much, it basically came defunct pretty quickly. After the leader basically died, I think like 7 members died. Delta basically has been reprogrammed. The one who's Jiraiya's clone, he disappeared, has not been seen since then. Yeah, that's a strange thing that comes to him. He just basically gets teleported off someplace, and he's never seen again in the series. Today, he has not returned to the manga. I have not seen him. And he's not returned to the anime yet, which is quite strange. It's been like a good 2 or 3 years. Maybe we'll see in the future. Who knows? Yeah. But since this guy is Kara, he might not be surviving this arc. Because he's not in the current chapters. Not that I can think of, no. So, as of now, aside from Boruto, I'd say probably the only survivors we might see, because we get like good character from him. I'd say the kid from Hidden Stone Village, I'd say he's going to live. The scavenger is going to live. And of course, I'd say the girl who looked like Tenten, I'd say she'd probably survive. Oh, we see what's exactly inside that businessman's briefcase. He said it was a payment for his client. Turns out all it's in there is a flask and a pitcher. That's it. Yeah, so you're like, oh, what was it like, boatload of cash in there? Nope. It was nothing. Like, it's personal for him, but basically he's a liar. Saying that he was carrying money in the briefcase, he really isn't. Yeah, and the thing is, only the viewer saw this. The one who looked like Tenten, she didn't see it, per se, because at first, basically, this was after they survived the experiment. His lockdown, he did get opened up, no problem. So, it was a bit of a disappointment what was in that briefcase. I was kind of expecting, like, money, or, I don't know, some clothing. Actually, clothing probably wouldn't be something to grasp onto. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if it was some device that he was holding on to, but a picture? Yeah, I was a bit disappointed with it, but it's fine. So, that relation was a bit of a disappointment. But I'd say, as of basically this episode, aside from Barth, like I said, the 2 girls, I'd say they're going to live this arc, no problem. The kid from the Hidden Stone Village, and maybe the monk, though he could sacrifice himself. Yes, I'd probably say so. Yep, but yeah, that's pretty much the particular review. You're probably curious to what about the manga reviews. Oh, don't worry, they're going to happen. Actually, there's going to be one, because Black Clover has had to take a week off this week. Yeah, they're actually going to come back for... Let me bring up the arc itself. The app itself, excuse me. They're not coming back for 2 weeks. Yeah, so it won't be until, let's see, today is the 11th. So basically, this won't be back until Christmas. Yeah, not until Christmas. And there's one other manga not coming back to Christmas. I will get to that. Now, at least 2 of the manga that came up this week will have a chapter release next week, but not in the case of one particular one. So, yeah, it's going to be kind of weird next week, basically, only having just one chapter to review, and then just having, like, yeah, it's kind of weird Black Clover's doing this. Maybe the thing is probably late, possibly, because I heard it was going to be late. I heard it was going to take a week off. I didn't realize it would be now 2 weeks. Yeah, maybe it's a vacation. Who knows? Okay, so that's episode review. Next episode, another Boruto review, and then it's on to some manga stuff. At least one manga chapter review, and then after that, it'll be on to Uzuki-chan wants to hang out. Okay, next video. Bye.